Well, hello and welcome back, or if it's your first time here, my name's Vanessa Lee. Hello. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope that you are ready for this video. Get yourself a cup of tea, because I will be spilling the tea on all I have learned about soil. Knowing your substrates can really save you from some heartaches. So I've got my saw out, and you're probably wondering why I have this saw. I'm actually going to be chopping up a block. Scoop it up. This massive block of cocoa core, which I got from Amazon. It was, I don't know the price, but I'll put it up. It was about £15, and it's massive, so I will not be needing quite so much. I mean, one kind of a block like that kind of size would generally do about 5 litres, I would say. I mean, it says that there's 70 litres in here. So yeah, the first topic I did want to talk about was budget and also space. So obviously, if you can buy your stuff in bulk, then the cost is lower. You can get cocoa core blocks, like just singular ones. I'll put the right size to look for if you do not have the space. But if you are also considering budget, I think cocoa core is a fabulous base to start with. There are a couple of other products that you will need to use, and I will go through those as I do a box of soil mix. So I'm going to be mixing up, let me get the box. So this is the box. I'm going to be mixing up a base soil mix that will fill this box, and then we'll start with the base mix, and then we'll kind of move into my chunky Aroid mix. And yeah, let's get on with it. We've got some sawing to do. But yeah, I definitely thought that this was a bargain. I mean, that is massive. And when I very first got into plants, I was actually, I knew nothing about substrates. I was just using cocoa core, and I remember buying about 6 blocks, which ended up lasting for a very, very long time. I've only recently just used it all up, and I bought that like 2 years ago. So this could actually end up being around for about 2 years. Okay, so let's go through some things about cocoa core. Actually, the first is there's no nutritional value. It is literally just to retain water, and ideally you've been using water that has fertilizer or nutritional value to add some nutrition, basically. Okay, how am I going to do this? Shall I do it? Ooh, I was kind of thinking I might want to cut it that way, but that's quite ambitious. So maybe, oh my gosh. Okay, so I'll do it like that. I'll do it here. Yeah, I think if I can cut that into 4 pieces, so maybe here. Oh my gosh, okay, this is not panning out too well. I think, oh my gosh, how on earth am I meant to get into this? Let's try. Give it some welly. Wow, this is kind of harder than sawing through chipboard. Nuts. I really thought this would be much easier. This is crazy. Why is this so hard? Try the other side. I do have an electric saw. I don't think that's going to help though. Decided to get a mask. Yay! Ah, brilliant. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Okay, definitely wear a mask, especially with the next part. But actually, let's just finish this off. So, I still have 3/4 left. Here's the box. I'm just going to put it in the box like that. That's going to make a lot of soil. Oh my gosh. And then I'm just going to add water. So I haven't really measured out the water. Maybe we should do that. Then I can try and figure out how much water. So I would say that that's kind of 2 blocks worth if you were to buy it in blocks. This jug holds, I think, 1 litre of water. Let's see. Oh. So, okay, so I'm putting in 1,200, just over 1 litre of water. Just chuck that in. And then you just basically, oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Yeah, just basically leave that in there for a little while. And might need more water. And you see that already it's kind of pretty much soaked up all that water. So let me get some more. I'll do another litre. That in. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for a little while. So I'll probably leave this for let's see, how long is it going to take? Oh no, it's kind of breaking down. I might have to put another litre in. We'll see. Oh my gosh, it's pretty hectic. Yeah, so the more I've kind of discovered different types of plants and their requirements, the more I've kind of had a better understanding of soil. And what I love about, once you do understand soil, you can adjust your soil to your watering habits. So say you're the type of person who tends to overwater your plants. You've had issues in the past with root rot and what else would be a problem? Ooh, just put that all over the place. Yeah, you just find that you've been having some problems with root rot. I would then, with that particular plant, add some more free-flowing substrates. Okay. I think it's going to need some more water. So I'm going to add another litre. I'm going to do it bit by bit. So I'm back, and I'm just going to pour in little bit more. Yeah, I'm just going to pour in 1 more litre. Oh, it's brilliant. Now it's breaking up. Oh my gosh. Look how much soil there is. That's just crazy. So yeah, I think I probably could have just done half of this brick, to be honest. So I'm probably going to have to try and find a bag or something to put some of this in. But, I mean, oh gosh, keep flicking out. But actually, you know what, I'm going to put my hands in. But oh my gosh, this is so much soil. Look how much. It's so fluffy and good. So there's still some crispy bits. I'm going to try and get those at the bottom. And hopefully they'll just soften up. Oh, I'm loving this. This definitely was very cost effective, and I'm sure it cost me about £15. Okay, I'm going to let that just stew for a little bit, and whilst that's happening, I'm going to pop off and make a cup of tea. So I will see you in 5 seconds. All right. Okay, I'm back with my rooibos tea, and I'm hoping that we can move on to the next stage. What did I say? My favourite tea, rooibos, which is red bush in English. It's a South African tea. Oh, it's so good. I love it. I put milk in mine, which I know is weird. But I don't care. Let's see. How's this feeling? Oh my gosh. You need to have a look at this. It looks so good. It's still a little crunchy. Oh my goodness. It's so good. So there are like some little bits here and there that are a bit dry, still dry. But mostly I think it's done. So let me show you how much one little brick made. Well, actually this would be 2 bricks worth. Just finding a couple more clumps. Check out how much is in there. That's how full the box is. So 2 bricks, that's a lot of soil. I'm going to put some of this in a bag because I kind of want to try out some measurements. I normally eyeball soil when I'm making up a soil mix. I just basically go with how it looks. But I'm going to try and do measurements. And then if the measurements aren't right, I can adjust them. Ooh. This bag's going to be big enough. Yeah, that should be big enough. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with bowl sizes. I'm using these bowls. So we're going to go with the whole bowl thing. So this would be a very basic soil mix. And I would probably use something like this on things like my begonias. Actually, no, my begonias are in, no, that's not true. Begonias, calatheas, and ferns. Not all ferns. My staghorn fern. Actually, no, my staghorn fern is in something fairly similar to what I'm going to make now. When you first buy a plant from a shop, okay, so that is about a bowl's worth. Yeah, so when you first buy a plant from a shop, it will generally come in cocoa core, which looks like this. So you might recognize that. I'm trying not to spill it on the floor. Oh, I just did. Yeah. So yeah, there's nothing in there. There's no nutritional value at all. It is literally just to retain water. So if you're going to have a basic soil mix, as long as you have three vital things in there, which I'm going to go through. So we've got a bowl full of cocoa core. Put that in there. And then I'm going to do a bowl of, where is my perlite? So the second component that you really need is something for aeration. So I'm adding some perlite. Perlite is, oh, this is very dusty. This is why I have the mask. Ugh. Let me show you the perlite. Yeah, so here's the perlite. Usually I would wash the perlite, but I'm not going to do that this time. I'm just going to spray it down a little bit and then I'm going to chuck it in the box. But this will create some nice aeration. And the great thing about perlite is that it's quite light. But the bad thing about perlite is because it's quite light, with just these two substrates together, it's going to rise to the top. Yeah. So let's run this in. So yeah, so you want to create some nice aeration, and drainage is very important. So the next thing I'm going to add is bark. Now bark, as far as I know, has got some nutritional value. And it creates some great aeration and drainage. Now I'm going to put in so this is the kind of bark that you can buy at most garden stores, and plant shops will have this one. Probably near the orchids, so this is like orchid bark. So I'm just going to spray inside the box quick. Just kind of try and calm it down a little bit. Okay, we are ready to pour in the last bit. Let me just bring this closer. I'm going to add the bark. So we've got three things in there. Stir it up. Stir it up. So this is going to make a great base mix for spider plants, ferns, begonias maybe, although I don't know, I find begonias a little tricky. I would use this with my calatheas. I think that's nicely stirred up. Oh, lovely. And that is good to go. So yeah, this is a great base mix, and you can definitely use this with plants like calatheas. I use this with my streptocarpus, which is just over there. If I have just propagated a plant, also I would use this mix with my propagations, because you know it's still going to retain a lot of water. If you're the type of person that forgets to water, then this is a really great mix. If you are the type of person that loves to water, then you might want to add a little bit more perlite, or what I'm going to move on to next now is my chunky Aroid mix. And yeah, with the chunky Aroid mix, is basically the water flows through much quicker. And that's great for plants like philodendrons, anthuriums, monsteras, all the Aroid plants basically, your orchids, your Hoyas, Sansevieria. Actually no, I probably would use more of a desert mix with that. Yeah, I would have to add some sand with a plant like that. But this is a really great for someone who has maybe just begun but now wants to upgrade. You've learnt about the plants, you've started with maybe some of the easier plants, and you've learnt that actually watering your plants in just pure coco coir does not benefit your plants at all. Swapping them into something like this is really you're gonna see a great difference in growth and the size of the leaves, and the speed of the growth is going to increase. You're going to have less issues with water clogging. You know, like sometimes when the soil gets so solid because maybe you have skipped a water, when you do water it just kind of floats there on the top. That's not going to happen when you've got some great additional substrates. So perlite and bark, winner. Have a look. Isn't that just gorgeous? Okay, so we've got the base mix. Let's move on and create a slightly chunkier Aroid mix. Now, most of the plants that I have here are Aroids, so it makes sense that I do my big batch with some additional things in. And I'm going to get a little bit more bougie now. So this is a great economical, budget-friendly base mix. This is the one that you're going to go for. Yeah, if you do have a little bit more coin to throw into your soil mix, then I would add some pumice. This one is from Grow Tropicals. You can pretty much find this anywhere. I think this is the medium one. It does come chunkier. I would have preferred the chunkier one, but I couldn't actually find it. And I actually would have preferred a chunkier perlite. Never seen it in the flesh. Okay, so I did wash some up. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Now I'm actually going to move some pumice like that. And I'm also going to use some zeolite. So, pumice basically is a volcanic rock. It is quite porous, so it can retain the water, which is fantastic. It will release it as and when it needs to, depending on the humidity, I'm guessing. It's a little heavier, so it's not going to do this. It's not going to float to the top like perlite will, and so that's great. I like having this addition in there. So I'm going to do half pumice, and then I'm going to do half zeolite. But I need to just go and wash some more of this because I didn't realise I didn't have enough washed. But yeah, I'll show you what it's looking like. Just pour some out. So yeah, it's kind of like, it looks like that before you've washed it. We've got some pumice, and I'm going to add some zeolite. Now, you don't have to add zeolite. It's not important. I mean, there are some benefits, such as it does, I think it retains any kind of artificial build-up of stuff. So like if there's a build-up of fertilizer, it will retain that, which is great. But I suppose if you're, especially if you're dealing with plants that are in no drainage, then that's probably why I bought this in the first place. But you know, if you're using drainage pots, then you can just flush your soil through and hopefully disperse some of any kind of build up. So I'm going to add that in. So there's basically half and half. I hope that's not really too much, but I can always add. So that's another bowl. So we've now got pretty much, if you were to just use pumice, you would have 25% pumice, 25% cocoa coir, 25% bark, and 25% perlite. So let's just mix that up. I actually also want to add in a couple of other things. Okay, that looked like a lot, didn't it? And it's already disappeared. This is definitely going to keep me going for quite some time. Oh, I'm really impressed. Okay, so on top of that, I'm actually going to add some activated charcoal. So that's what it looks like. And this is great for aeration also, and it also helps with bacteria. So I like to use a bit of this. Now I'm not sure entirely. Let's see if I've got a cup that I can use. I think in something that's as big as this, I'm going to go for, oh, that's quite dusty. I think I'm going to go for about that much. I don't know, is that excessive? I don't think that is. Maybe I'll go half and we'll have a look. So I'm going to put, this is a pint, like a plastic cup. So half a pint. Let's pour that in. Mix it in. And wow, that literally just disappeared. I might put in a little bit more actually. So almost a whole pint. I don't think there are any negatives to putting in activated charcoal, but I do know that when I buy the premixes, I can definitely see it in the substrate. So I want to be able to see like hints of it. Looking good. Okay, let's just wipe all that out as well. Okay, and now there's this one last thing that I want to add. Which is worm casting. So with worm casting, no one actually knows how much you're meant to put in. I think I might use half of this jar. So let's see, let me pour it in here first. That's about half the jar, I think. So I'm just gonna pour that in. So worm casting is great. It does add a little nutritional value to the soil, a little nutrition, but it also helps kind of create your good biochemistry for your plant and its root system. So if there is any rotting, then all those interesting insects that you need to kind of eat up that before it starts rotting the whole plant, like springtails and that kind of stuff, that kind of beneficial mites, if you'd like, or beneficial insects. So yeah, I'm actually going to get my hands in there and just make sure I'm getting right to the very bottom, and also I get to feel, see how it feels in my hands. And I'm liking that a lot. Really happy. Look how much soil I just made. This is fantastic. So this is my chunky Aroid mix. Check it out. I'm really happy with it. I might add some more bark actually, maybe. So yeah, if you are on a budget and you just want to go for the base mix, go ahead with that. And then just kind of keep an eye on your watering with whatever substrate you are using. Keep an eye on your watering and check out your habits of your plants. Now obviously some plants need watering more often than others. If you find that you're the type of person who does forget to water, then maybe think about adding some additional things to your soil to retain some moisture, such as the cocoa coir. Although there is no nutritional value, it does at least retain your fertilized water if you're watering with fertilizer. That's fantastic. If you are in the opposite direction and you tend to love watering your plants, it's something that you really enjoy doing on a daily basis, then definitely stick to something with a lot more aeration that allows the water to drain faster. And then moving on to some of my plants that are in no drainage. So let me just grab one of those. This is my anthurium. Which one is this? The pink edge. That's her brand new leaf, looking absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, as you can see, I am using no drainage. I've got a reservoir here that I've filled with leca balls. And with this plant, because it's in a no drainage situation and I want the water to drain through fairly quickly so that it sits in the reservoir rather than just a soggy load of cocoa coir or, you know, like a soil mix, I've put lots of pumice in there. You can see that there's pumice, there's vermiculite, I've got perlite in there, I've got, I think there's cocoa coir in there, cocoa husk, and this one I actually haven't started using tree fern fibre. I haven't repotted this one yet, but my newest thing that I also love to add to the soil, so I'm only doing that with my anthuriums. With my anthuriums, what I would do is use half of this and half of the Aroid mix, or maybe 2/3 of my Aroid mix with 1/3 of tree fern fibre. Yeah, I've just been experimenting on just my anthuriums with the tree fern fibre. It's not the cheapest. Actually, you know what, I actually found it quite a reasonable price, but it's definitely not something that as a beginner, or if you are on a budget, that this is something that you need, or it's not cheap. it's not expensive, but it's not cheap, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so yeah, it's only been maybe a month or two since my plants have been repotted in this substrate, so I'm still keeping an eye on them. I will give you an update on that, but I basically have seen so many other plant YouTubers using tree fern fibre, and the results for them have been quite phenomenal, like lush, big, beautiful leaves, especially with the anthuriums. Actually, mostly with anthuriums. And I mean, obviously, it's a slightly more expensive plant. Yeah, I think the more expensive the plant, the more likely I am going to use the tree fern fibre. But with a plant like my Oxalis triangularis, I would not use the tree fern fibre. So actually, this is a good example of quite a thirsty plant. This guy is so thirsty, oh my goodness. So this one is in a base mix. Just the bark, cocoa core and perlite. And I do believe that there is some husk in there as well, as you can see. And that might be actually something that I would add to my mix. But yeah, thirstier plants, the base mix works really nicely. I mean, she's looking very sad. This plant was looking a lot better. I don't know what happened. Yeah, well, I do know what happened. I left her in the soil that I bought this plant in, which was obviously like just a pure, it looked like garden soil, and I rotted the roots. So this plant has had to grow brand new roots. So for me, it's looking amazing, considering at one stage it had no roots at all, not that long ago. So yeah, lesson learned. Just having a plant in just one pure substrate will clog around the roots and suffocate them, basically. They need to be able to breathe. It's really, really important that you add some additional things like perlite and bark, if you can. Add some additional ones as your budget allows, then go ahead and do that. I'm actually going to tip the camera down and I'm going to add some cocoa husk because I did buy some. So I'm also going to add some cocoa husk just to be extra bougie. So where is that pot? Where are you? Okay, all that bowl is wet. So I'm not going to go crazy with the husk. I mean, obviously this is going to retain water, but it also has some chunks in there, which is going to add a little bit of airflow as well. And I recently bought some more. I bought a whole batch of just the substrate components from Little W's, but you can also go onto Grow Tropical's website and find these. In fact, most websites will have this. So I'm going to do half a bowl. Ooh. Yeah. Let's just tip that in. It's got a very strange smell. Do not know what that is. So that's what it's looking like. I'll tip that in. Oops. That's the last thing that I'm going to put in. Oh, that looks loads better actually. I knew there was something missing. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit more. So that's almost a whole bowl. So I put 1 bowl of cocoa core, 1 bowl of cocoa husk, 1 bowl of perlite, and 1 bowl of pumice and, well, yeah, pumice, but obviously I did half pumice, half zeolite. And that looks amazing. And then on top of that, I added 1 pint cup of activated charcoal and some worm casting. And there we go. Isn't that gorgeous? Check it out. So we've talked about how some plants need to retain more water. They tend to be thirstier. And so that base mix is going to work really well for them. And then there's other plants that have maybe thicker roots and prefer to have a more aerated substrate. Another thing I have noticed, I might slap in some B-roll just so that you can have a look and see what I'm talking about. But when the plant does mature, those roots become thicker, and the more aeration around the plant, around the plant's roots, really does improve the growth and health of the plant. The last thing I want to talk about is environment. So in my home, I haven't counted all my plants, but I most certainly have over 100 plants in my home, and that has increased the humidity in my home. So if you think about it, I've got 100 plants in here, and they're all sat in substrates that hopefully have been watered. So that is naturally going to increase the humidity in my home. Generally, it's around 65%. Going into summer, it will reduce because with the heat and all the light, I do tend to have less humidity. If your home is kind of like medium to low light, then you will be watering your plants a lot less than I will be in my home, because my home is very bright in the summer. I have lots of skylights, so this room in particular is very bright. Plants that tend to like medium light, I put into my bedroom, or I will find, like, there's one corner of my room, I think that is northwest over there. Is it? No, it's just north. Yeah, so north generally for me is the darkest area of my home. What else? Have I missed anything out? I don't believe that I have. But yeah, so those things are definitely worth considering when you have maybe just bought yourself a new plant, you have tried the base mix, and maybe you have found that you're watering more often, or that it's retaining a lot more moisture than you would want it to, because maybe you like to water more frequently. You can just change the substrates to suit your environment and to suit your lifestyle, your what would be the right word, your watering habits. So I really hope that this video has helped. I don't believe I've missed anything out. If there's anything that maybe you would have added, or that you add to your substrate, definitely leave that in the comments down below. I'm sure everybody would like to hear about that. That's my fridge. So yeah, I do hope that you enjoyed the video and that you did find it helpful. Give me a thumbs up to let me know that you did. Please leave a comment. I'd love to know what it is that you are getting up to with your plants. Maybe there's some additional thing that you would add to your Aroid mix, or yeah, just leave your tips and tricks in the comments down below. They're much appreciated by myself and to the community, to this planty family. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, go ahead and do that. Join us. And yeah, I would love to see you here again soon. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope that you have a fabulous week and I will see you very soon. Until then, bye.